Hello, welcome back to the Calvin Crypto video. I hope you guys are doing well, and today we're back with another banger PulseChain video, and today marks the first video of this series, which will be the Core 7 ecosystem made simple. We're going to start with INC because that's been the most requested, and don't worry, I will explain the rest of the Core 7. If you guys didn't know, that's what I believe in, is PulseX, Hex, EHEX, INC, pDai, and PWBTC. So we're going to talk about its bullish case. We're going to look at the price chart. I'm going to also give my price predictions in terms of, realistic and aspirational, etc. We're also going to do some simulations in terms of what could happen if the sacrifice funds were rotated in as well, and just in general talk about the history of INC token and its nature, how it's actually very close to Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, because when it first started, when PulseChain launched after the snapshot of Ethereum back in May of 2023, that was the point where its inflation was at its highest. Okay, and if you think about it, when was the best time to buy Bitcoin? When its inflation was its highest. Okay, now I'm not going to tell you that, okay, yes, you're 2 years late to INC since day one. The good news is that when we look at from the all-time lows of INC, and generally, guys, the rest of the Core 4 that we're seeing right in front of us, you're not really that late. Okay, so really consider yourself lucky because PulseChain launched in the middle of the bear market. Now the good thing about this is that we have great track record showing that we've been up for 100% all of the time, which, by the way, Solana couldn't even do that with a lot of failed transactions. Now, I'm just going to quickly say a side note. Now, I have seen a lot of people talk about stuck transactions here on PulseChain, and that is super annoying, but I'll tell you that has nothing to do with PulseChain. It's actually to do with MetaMask that is prone to having these issues because of the fact MetaMask is not perfect with its gas price predictions. Okay, now I'll make a separate video to talk more about that, but I just want to give you guys a little insight about that. It has nothing to do with PulseChain. PulseChain is an exact fork over Ethereum, so it inherits all the good and the bad attributes that Ethereum has, but thankfully Ethereum is absolutely amazing. Proof of stake, it's better than Bitcoin, right? Ethereum is like twice as fast than Bitcoin, and PulseChain now we're it's younger brother that does everything that the older brother can do, but with even better features. We're 17% quicker. We're a new blockchain, guys. Okay, we're going through our first cycle right now. So in terms of the diminishing returns, we can expect a lot of diminishing returns from Ethereum, unlike from PulseChain. And that's what makes it a very attractive place for me to be in this upcoming altcoin season. Okay. So anyways, obviously Ethereum is still very, it's a very bullish chain, because at the end of the day, PulseChain is a leverage of Ethereum's success. We need Ethereum to succeed. And in general, one of the unwritten rules of crypto is that you need to have Ethereum rally up first, right? The Ethereum season, for us to then expect, or the subsequent step is the altcoin season. So also do remember that. But anyways, going back to just, before we jump into some INC and looking at the price chart, etc., I'm going to quickly, go through some bullish tweets here about Richard Hart, about PulseChain. Is very excited. And if you haven't watched my previous video, what I talked about, the next 50, 90 days, whatever countdown you guys really want to choose. Okay, I understand you guys are tired of countdowns. Trust me, I am too. The whole thing with the 238, people's expectations were overblown. People are saying, I expected pDai to peg at that day. No, you need to manage your expectations. And as I mentioned in the previous video, guys, please manage them. I would rather you guys lower your expectations so that you're surprised for the upside, rather than having extremely high expectations and then be surprised for the downside. Okay, there's going to be a lot of patience here. Do remember this, at the end of the day, guys, and I've seen this comment. I'm going to actually quickly, tangent into this. Big shout out to all the comments. Thank you very much, guys. I read them all. Okay, from Daniel here, says, I'm just burnt out of the BS. Okay, and I understand people are saying, what's going on with the price action? We've been waiting for so long. There's nothing that's been happening. Ethereum just broke its all-time high, but why is PulseChain not moving? We just have to wait, guys. Okay, and yes, this is the price chart. I'm going to quickly take a look at it, and I drew this box months and months ago, guys. Okay, and I said this box, and if I believe it's actually minus 60 from the local all-time high to minus 80% Okay, now it's actually minus 86%. And that is usually like my buy zone, okay, where something is like cheap. Anything that's minus 60% from its local all-time high, because this is the local all-time high, that's why I refer to it as local all-time high, is where it's undervalued, right? And we know INC is very bullish for a lot of reasons we're going to cover in this video. And now you have a bullish token that is also undervalued. Okay, and we've actually been going sideways, guys. This is consolidation for a long time. And one of the theories behind the Elliott wave theory is that the wider the base, the higher the space. Okay. Okay, it's actually quite simple as that, really, guys. I mean, there's nothing really more to say with INC. This is the chart. It launched, you know, with PulseChain, of course, from day 0 or day 1, and its all-time high is at around $80 something. And as I said, it started with the highest amount of inflation, and it slowly started reducing. Now, this is a website, really great website called incsupply.enrol.app, and it shows the annualized inflation. And actually, guys, this inflation was adjusting, lowering on a day-to-day. So it's kind of like a Bitcoin halving, but when you divide it by 365. So obviously with Bitcoin halving, with Bitcoin halving, it's roughly every 4 years, right? And then it slashes the block rewards in half. But now imagine it with INC, where it doesn't wait 4 years, it just does it, you know, divided by 365 times 4. But something significant happened, right? And it's at this moment here. Okay, early this year, the inflation went down drastically. It's actually equivalent to 4 Bitcoin halvings. So all of a sudden, INC is being printed way less. Okay, it used to print around 1 INC per second to pay the PulseX farms. So if I quickly go to the farms here, you can see this is the farms are available right now, and these are the accurate APRs. So this is how much you can make by, you know, putting whatever you want to stake. And remember, I'm going to make a separate video on this, but what I want to show you guys is this number right here, the weight. Okay, 2.63%, 15.7%, you know, this will all add up to 100%, of course. And what does this weighting come from? It is from the inflation. So the contract address itself, which is dictated by the master chef contract, which again, we assume that's probably Richard Hart or the PulseX devs, whatever it is, and it's most likely a multi-sig wallet, again, for safety, that can change the INC inflation rate. Okay, and now it's at 0.03. All of a sudden, INC is very restricted in terms of its supply, guys. Now, if we maintain the same level of demand, the price will go up. Now, if we increase the demand, but the supply is, you know, barely moving, we're going to start seeing exponential price appreciation. And that's my bet here with INC, why it is super attractive. Now, I understand, you know, with cutting down the rates of inflation, the APRs on these farms are now less attractive. They used to be almost triple digits for the longest time. Okay, and I'll tell you right now, all we need is a 10x in INC, and all of a sudden these APRs are very attractive again. Look, a 10x from here would result in 110 APR, not APY. Go Google the difference, guys. Okay, where you don't need to, you know, hold it and compound interest it for the rest of the year to realize the APY. This is APR. That means you can actually sell your yield on a day-to-day and maintain this percentage. That's why I really like about APRs. I don't really like APYs. So yeah, like, guys, imagine this. Look at this. This is a stablecoin with DAI, with Pulse. You're making 110% APR if we 10x the price of INC. Think about the whales that are going to be so attracted to this, especially what PulseChain is trying to be, which is stay attractive during the bear market. I'll tell you this right now, guys. I know for a fact this is Richard Hart's plan with PulseX, you know, and again, I'll make a separate video reviewing PulseX, but this is from the PulseX website, and I'm going to read this section which talks about the second PulseX incentive token, which is, of course, INC, the greenest logo. And fun fact, Richard Hart labeled it as a meme coin. If you think about, you know, all the meme coins that are out there with the pump tire tokens, INC is Richard Hart's first meme coin, guys. Let me just double check my mic was working. Yes. Okay. So this website here, it says, the second PulseX incentive token In order to enhance PulseX's success, another token will exist to further incentivize liquidity providers beyond the fees they're already making. When they become liquidity providers, they will receive LP tokens that they can deposit into a yield farm. This not yet named token, we already know this, the name of it now, is emitted by with decreasing inflation over time. Now, this is the part where not a lot of people are talking about this, even though, like, this is very exciting, but this is not in effect yet. A DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, chooses which trading pairs receive this incentive and at what rates. So again, at what rating, effectively. Only addresses with PulseX balances get to vote in the DAO. Guys, we don't have this integrated. And I feel like this could be one of PulseX's next updates, which is very exciting. Imagine all of a sudden, guys, we vote for like PWBTC farmers to come alive again. And pDai. Very, very interesting. Okay, and I'm going to quickly read the paragraph above. Okay, because some of you guys, not some of you, on Twitter, there's a lot of people are the same. People are talking too much about pDai, talking too much about PWBTC. And I'm going to tell you guys, one of the unique selling points for PulseChain, the USPs, is the fact that we are a full system state copy of Ethereum, not just a layer 1 fork. Okay, it's a really great talking point. And this is what the website, this is the official website, guys. This is what they said. The world's largest yield farm. Every time people swap from one coin to another on PulseX, liquidity providers earn fees as a reward. Users can bridge in their ERC20s and pair them with the free PRC20s. Okay? So yeah, PRC20 are things like pHex, pDai, PWBTC, and a bunch of others like PSDC, PSDT. And then you continue to say, in order to provide liquidity and earn fees. This also backs the value of the PRC20s that they got for free. Backs the value. So he understands that if people bridge in their ERC20s and then they bond it with their PRC20s, as time goes on and as more people are trading through those liquidity pairs, the price will actually start to match each other, or like move towards matching each other, guys. You know where I'm going with this, right? PWBTC, EWBTC, pDai, eDai. Guys, this is from the official website. This is not from me. Okay. So yeah, anyways, going back to this, I'm going to quickly, show you guys here that, yes, are you, with the question of, am I late? Seems like, PulseChain launched years ago, yada, yada, yada. And the good news is, no, you're not late. Okay. If you click on the all-time ATL, all-time low, you can see that INC is at $1.44, which is only a 2.6x from its all-time low. So if you look at the chart here, you can see that its all-time low was around 39 cents. And I remember being there. Okay, now, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'll be very transparent. At this time, earlier of 2024, yeah, it is. I was busy looking at other stuff. I was busy accumulating other things that I believed in. And a quick fun fact, guys, I became a Hexican like summer of that year in 2024, where everything was so low, so bearish. You guys won't believe, if you think this is bearish on high depression times, you won't believe 2024's summertime, guys. And I was there making videos. And that's when I became a Hexican, because it became so attractive looking at how EHEX is cheap, how PHEX is cheap. And then I understood the vision, and I really looked more into Richard Hart's past live streams. And I became a Hexican, guys. Okay, which I know some of my videos, it sounds like I've been probably a Hexican for the longest time, but no. I've only been a Hexican just over a year. And I believe in them firmly. All you have to do is listen to some of Richard Hart's old live streams, guys. Okay, he talks about the same concepts that apply today, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, don't just rely on, what other articles write about Richard Hart. Don't just read the article headlines and be like, I heard he's a scammer, so I didn't really look into PulseChain. And then you wait 3 months later to then be like, oh wait, PulseChain is actually bullish? Can you tell me more about Richard Hart? Too bad I didn't. You know what I mean? Guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. It's better to be 3 years early into a bullish project rather than being 3 months late. Okay. So again, welcome to PulseChain, guys, the land of opportunity. We're not even on a centralized exchange. Guys, the money that are moving in right now, this is called smart money, guys, before the public knows about PulseChain. So anyways, going back, now you understand that you're not late to INC in terms of the price action. Now, yes, you probably have seen this from the price chart here. I show that, these are kind of my milestones, which is going to $30, and then you have triple digits, and then around $320. Okay. Now, I did create this for, it's not just like numbers out of, I'm just getting like jellyfishes from thin air here with a SpongeBob reference. I don't know why I use a SpongeBob reference, but anyways, I used Fibonacci extensions to kind of get these milestones. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Okay, with $320 INC, that is my aspirational case. Now, a lot of people will call this FUD because they're saying actually we can go for quadruple digit INC, and that's absolutely within the realm of possibilities. Why? Because we are actually one of the lowest times of liquidity, as I already mentioned, right? INC inflation has been cut down, where people who were in PulseX farms, they're no longer there. Okay, majority of them actually pulled their LP and basically unpaired from the PulseX farms and unpaired their LP tokens. Why? It's because it's no longer that attractive. And I'll tell you that Richard did this on purpose, guys. Okay, so if you quickly go to the info tab right here, this is the V1, right? Because there's V2, but we're going to focus on the V1. We are in one of the lowest total liquidity we've ever been, at just under 100 million in V1 liquidity, when, by the way, in December, last mini altcoin season, we were at $500 million, which, by the way, put us in around top 5 top 5 chains by TVL. Compared to all other chains, right? We were like under BNB, under Ethereum, under Solana, of course, because Solana is absolutely crazy right now. But yeah, we were in the top 5, and it's crazy. But the reason why this is not good, because liquidity has a weight factor. So yes, when we go back to here and I grab this contract address, and just a quick pointer, by the way, if you guys are not sure that you're looking at the correct charts for something, right? Because you're worried that you're looking at a fake incentive token. What you need to get is the contract address, which is the number that's right here. You can see that in the address bar, the URL. Or when you copy it from here in the deck screener. But how you can actually get the correct one is that, yes, you can either type INC and try to find it, hope that, you trust the algorithm to get you the right INC here, which most likely it is. And you can confirm that by a few things. Number one, yes, the logo is there, but anyone can technically pay for a logo, but it gives you the slight verification check. You can also look at the volume, right? 109,000, but yes, people can also create fake volume bots. And then you can look at the next thing is liquidity. So this has 4 million in liquidity, which is with Pulse, so INC/Pulse pair. But the best way is to actually get your hands on the contract address, which, by the way, you can use things like pulsefolio.com or use GoPulse. And then what you got to do is just go to INC, type INC, or like just go to the main page and you'll find INC. And then just click on that, and then you can click the copy contract address, go back to the deck screener and just paste it, because of course contract address is unique to a token. So one contract address, and you can see there's multiple clickable kind of charts here, because one address has multiple routes, LP routes. So you can see here INC can be traded with Pulse through a V1 liquidity pool. INC can be traded with Pulse through a V2 liquidity. I'll make a separate video talking about the difference. And you can see here INC to PulseX, INC to PulseX V1, V2, INC to Pulse again, but this is on 9mm exchange. So again, yeah, there's a few things that, if you guys didn't know, there's V1, V2, V3, and there's PulseX, which is the liquidity platform, I guess, right? Or you can think of it as an ATM, and the INC/PulseX is kind of like the routes, right, where you can go from point A to point B. But anyways, okay. That's how you can get you just use other sites to cross-reference. Now, looking at other tweets here, before we look more into INC, big shout out to Freedom777. Here goes, PulseChain is about to go viral. Boss, You are probably tired, but I say get ready. PulseChain is about to turn up real soon. Don't take your finger off the pulse. Keep the dream alive. We have the best chain and the best founder in crypto. Calm before the storm. Thank God you're alive today and have a crypto opportunity in your life that most people do not have. A true shot at being early at a piece of the future. Sorry, to a piece of the future. Life can change for the better very quickly. Anon, I believe in PulseChain. And speaking about very quickly, there's a tweet from Richard Harwood that we're going to check here, where he literally talked about INC in early 2024, right? This aligns with the first mini altcoin season, where it did a 25x in 3 months, guys. In 3 months. So I'm telling you, crypto can move very fast. And yes, I understand that it feels terrible right now to hold these bags that haven't really performed. But I'll tell you right now, guys, and I promise you, the bags that feel terrible to hold actually end up being the ones that have the greatest gains. Okay? I promise you this. So it is a believer's cycle, guys. As long as you believe in what you're holding, and I really want you guys to make up a thesis and be like, okay, this is why I'm holding this and I'm investing in this. I'm not trading this, I'm investing, because I really do believe this. Time isn't a factor. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if it's going to be a successful trade type thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand there's obviously no certainties. I can't tell you guys there's guaranteed profits here from PulseChain, because at the end of the day, that's what crypto is. We can't speak in certainties. Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. Okay. But this is my best bet. This bull run. Okay. This is the bet that I'm taking. 95% of my portfolio is allocated all in PulseChain. And if you've been watching my videos for months and months, you probably already know what I'm holding, basically. Okay. So yeah, here he says, INC went up 25x in 3 months and isn't even on a coin ranking site. Only has 32,000 holders. 30% of its total supply is in 142.9 million liquidity across these two pairs in the pictures. Now, this is obviously not true anymore. Okay, look at this, guys. Oh my days. This used to have 76 million in liquidity, and it still did a 25x in 3 months. Guys, we have way less liquidity right now. Right? We're going to actually look at the exact pair. It was with PulseX, right? Look at this. 3.4 million. Guys, oh my God. 3.4 million in liquidity versus the 70 something million. I'm telling you, liquidity is like a weight factor. So if the same amount of money that was used to pump at that time was to inject at this time, guys, it would have done probably a 150x instead of a 25x, because the weight factor that liquidity has. I'm so excited. Yes, and Richard did this on purpose. He wants PulseChain to be lighter, and yes, that does make it more volatile. That means we can go down just as easy, right, as we can go up. But that's the whole phase that we're in. We're in at the growth phase, and there's a clip somewhere, I can maybe remember to show you guys in the next video, where he talks about, understand that low liquidity is great. We don't care about, there's not enough liquidity for me to cash out X amount of money. That's going to be a later type of problem. And I really do feel like Richard Harwood will probably, try to incentivize the PulseX V1 forms once we're at, 50x, 100x higher from today's prices. Like, Richard has tricks up his sleeves, guys. So this is very exciting. And then in another tweet here, he goes, Hex is on day 1877. And again, he's referring to EHEX here. A flawless operation. PulseX, PulseChain, INC are around 600 days of flawless operation. I'd like to think it's inevitable that these open source projects get the respect they deserve. Give it a try. You probably have free coins waiting for you if you had anything on Ethereum on May 20th, 2023. They're hidden gems, literally hidden. Popular coin ranking sites list flatulence coins on the front page, but not these gems. It's like they're burying treasure for you to find. Okay, and another tweet here says, literally hidden gems, INC inflation just got cut 20x. Hex daily APY just cut 7x. Again, guys, he's reacting here to the OA. Okay, because with the OA, and I'm going to talk about this in a separate video, the OA staked 95% of the supply in 5555 stakes, which is like 15 years. Okay, he's reacting to that. And yeah, this tweet was earlier this year, February 11th. So these two events happened very around the same time, guys. So yeah, the inflation rate got cut 20x. PulseX and PulseChain have been burning coins every day. And then here to the last tweet that we're going to see from Richard Hart talking about INC. Oh my God, this is my tweet. What? This is from March of 2024. I said, INC will shock everyone who faded it. Holds itself in the top 3 meme coins of PulseChain. Already up 13x from the bottom. Rest will be history. I believe. I believe. So yeah, this is what he said. Things people don't understand about INC. You nearly always have to buy Pulse or PulseX to get it, because that's the pairs people put their liquidity in. Look at the auto router pick to see a path, or you can farm it. The majority of the liquidity is also farming INC. So again, that's the V1 farms. The higher the INC price, the higher the rewards to farmers. As I already mentioned earlier in this video, right? If the INC price did a 10x, then you can imagine that APRs will do 110 APR basically. Notice that every farming pair has WPLS except one. You see Hex and PulseX on that list of farms as well. I don't think INC, I don't link INC more than PulseX and or Hex, but it's gone up the hardest, and the chart is the chart. There's a chance it might bring a different type of speculator into the ecosystem. Who knows? Crazy, 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 guys. And the crazy part as well, speaking about crazy, is that INC today, it hit 55,555,555 today, September 7th. With a tweet here from Dirty Crypto says, chat's moving so fast, nobody realizes INC inflation rate just got adjusted multiple times. What's so special about September 7th? Well, we had a blood moon, and that is very true. And this is why I also made a tweet here, stating Amara's law. If you guys didn't know, Amara's law is basically the principle where when a new tech arrives, majority of people overestimate its performance, right? But in the performance in the short term, but then underestimate its performance in the long term. And basically, a really great example here is the dot-com bubble when the internet kind of came out, right? People said it's going to change everything, and then, the dopamine ran out, and I was like, actually, wait, this didn't change the world. Because of course, guys, they didn't take into account the time factor, right? People need to get used to it. The technology needs to integrate into people's lives and etc. So that's basically Amara's law, right? And this is why I link PulseChain to being disruptive tech. It takes time, right? And it really is good, the fact that we've launched in the middle of the bear market, because it's always better to launch it during those times, because it shows the chart and it widens the base, as I already talked about it, right? And it also shows track record. PulseX has been live for X amount of years, so it's more credible, right? We've withstood the test of time. I said here, buying PulseChain today is like buying Ethereum before it went on its parabolic run. We are at the phase where majority of people are underestimating it. Buckle up. This blood moon is marking the last dip. Now we shall see. Okay, I know you guys are tired of the countdown, so I'm not going to say, but it would have been funny if I said 2 more weeks. It would have been funny. But to be fair, I can't really say 2 more weeks, because it is 1 week away from the FOMC meeting, which has a lot of anticipation. If they didn't cut the rates, it'll be very, very interesting to see how people react. Okay, with kind of like the global macroeconomics and just the wider crypto market, really. But speaking about the crypto market, I haven't really spoken about it. It's doing really well, considering that we're just above the fear phase. Bitcoin is still holding quite nicely above 110,000, but it's so crazy how there's a lot of bearish sentiment right now, even though Bitcoin is above triple digits. And it really is either the disbelief or like the denial phase, right? If you remember if you can Google it as well, the Wall Street cheat sheet graph, we're really at the disbelief where people are saying, oh yeah, we pumped, but this most likely is the top. There's no way we're gonna go. Like, again, they're like underestimating. And I guess Bitcoin is probably at that phase as well with Amar's law, right? Where's that? Right here with Amar's law. Like, Bitcoin is also here. Like, they're underestimating the tech in a way. I mean, to be fair, Bitcoin has very high market saturation. So when you think about the S-curve of adoption as well, which literally aligns with this, it is very close to up here. Actually, it's close to like plateauing in terms of the rate of growth year over year, because liquidity is already way too high, market cap is way too high. Majority of people in crypto already know about Bitcoin, etc. It already has an ETF. There's a lot of ways to buy it. The barrier for entry is very, very low, unlike PulseChain. So this is why I like to think that PulseChain is in the middle, when Bitcoin you can kind of put the logo somewhere up here where it still has it still has growth year over year, cycle over cycle, but it's just diminished now. Okay, so keep that in mind. Anyways, moving on to another tweet here from DIY Investing. Says fractals is equal to repeating patterns across timeframes and asset classes. A small wave looks just like the tsunami. Same structure, different scale. Looking at PulseChain, the setup is clear. The fractal is playing out again. This is a 1000x fractal. Buckle up. Comparing it to XRP, ladies and gentlemen, it's crazy. XRP in its first cycle did around like a 700x. Okay, 700x. Is PulseChain going to do the same? And yeah, also, by the way, this chart kind of looks like the textbook example of the Wyckoff accumulation. So you guys can also look that up, and you can see like the different phases of the accumulation, distribution, I believe. I think that's the Wyckoff accumulation. I'm not sure. I think it's like 3 phases. But yeah, if you align those two charts together, it's very similar. Very, very similar. It's a bullish pattern, by the way. So moving on to another. This is a very early tweet, by the way. This is in 2023, the year that PulseChain launched. And I just want to show you guys the supply back then. Right, the supply back then was 5 million INC. Now we're at 55 million. Okay, and it's plateauing at that rate. Here, he says, a big shout to Dipcatcher, says, INC supply is at 5 million and is currently inflating at 1.77% per day, or 645% annualized. This inflation rate will trend down as long as the MasterChef contract owner does not increase the inflation with the set INC per second function. And then of course he links the website. So yeah, big shout out to him. If he's the person who made this chart, this website, big shout out to him. Such a great utility. So yeah, that is the chart right now. Today you can see the current daily inflation is estimated, right? I'm assuming because it doesn't have more details in terms of the decimal points, but it is basically 0%. Current annualized inflation rate is at 1.65%, guys, per year. That's nothing. Guys, that's basically nothing. Wow. So, guys, listen, the last thing I'm going to do in this video is take you guys here to Pampi, Pampi.app, where we can kind of simulate what would happen if the sacrifice funds, if you guys didn't know, 166,000 Ethereum are being held in the sacrifice funds. That makes PulseChain a literal leverage of Ethereum. And yeah, Richard Hart talks about that. We know what Richard Hart did with the sacrifice funds in the previous cycle with EHEX, which contributed a lot to the success. We know that there's OA, which, by the way, a quick fun fact, with the core 4, at least the one that you see here in front of you, INC doesn't have any OA holdings, actually. So if we click exclude OA, you can see the supply, or sorry, this is the including the OA, you can see the supply of PulseX is around 142 trillion. The supply of Pulse is 137, and then Hex is 667, right? So if we exclude the OA, you can see it went down to 100 billion. It went down from 130 something to 17 trillion. It went down from, again, 42 to 20 trillion, right? Because like all these three tokens, around 90% plus of the supply is held by the OA, the origin address. We don't know if it's Richard Hart. We don't know if it's an AI. We don't know if it's a bot. We don't know if it's a multi-sig. We don't know if it's a group of people, PulseX developers. But the crazy part is that INC barely has any OA holdings. Okay, this is just a fun fact. And also what makes INC attractive, in a way, right? It depends, like, if you think this is an attractive fact, is that there was no sacrifice for RNC. Okay, so there's not a lot of like whales that had, I don't know, they put in a lot of initial capital into this. Okay, as we've seen with PulseX and Pulse, and of course like Hex from the previous cycle. You know, if that is a bullish thing to you, that's just the fact I wanted to share. Actually, before we go into the pDai, I quickly wanted to review this tweet here from Giga, talking about his thoughts, his perspective. Remember when I talked about in the previous video, looking at people's perspective, nobody knows what reality truly is. Okay, but this is a look into his perspective about the token incentive, the most underrated Richard Hart token. And it's just a quick reminder, guys. I hope you guys are really enjoying this. You know, I'm going to make different parts for the rest of the Core 7 ecosystem. And before we jump into the tweet, just reading the highlighted comments and just thanking you guys, the viewers, right, supporting me, commenting, sharing this video. I really see the effects, and I really am grateful, guys. And I want to thank you guys, because I feel like if I haven't thanked you guys, it's as if I'm not thanking God, because I truly am honored. I am grateful for the position that I'm in today. Okay, yes, I have a lot of goals where I want to be in the future. Doesn't mean that I shouldn't be grateful for what I have right now today. I am enjoying the journey, the people that I'm speaking with, people over on Telegram. And yes, by the way, I have opened the Telegram for 20 spots in my previous video, and now it's obviously filled up. I will open up the Telegram sometime soon as well. I'm going to keep another 20. I want to control, you know, the type of people that are joining it. I don't want to open it to the public, because, you know, sometimes, you know, the wrong type of people join that don't really like, who think the Telegram group chat is kind of a clipboard where they just paste and shill whatever they want. No. It's a shill-free zone. Very high value conversations, guys. People around the world, different professions, different experiences. We have people like that have been in crypto since 2014, guys. Crazy stuff. And just sharing the knowledge, I really do love it, and I share it back to you guys here with my videos. So don't worry, if you haven't joined the Telegram, you can send me a DM on my Telegram, link in the description. So please be careful from imposters. My username is in the description. No other Telegram account. Be careful. I can just add you to the waiting list if you want me to do so. And please do follow me on my Twitter, by the way. Anyways, to the highlighted comments here from Rolando. Says, great radio voice. Thank you. And the intro music fits. Most importantly, great content. Keep it coming. It's valuable to me. Well, I appreciate it. That's a really great message. And from Callan, he's an OG. I've seen him comment multiple times. This is huge, Cat. Thank you for all your hard work. The big man upstairs is watching. Yo, that actually means a lot. Thank you. And from Urabe says, one source told me that the devices are being sent to Binance's mailing list. And let me tell you, this makes a lot of sense. This is very smart of Richard Hart to do. Because of course, he's not going to airdrop it. He's not going to, this is not digital. He's not going to post it to people who are already in PulseChain. It just doesn't make sense, right? It's within the same circle of people that already know about PulseChain, that already probably have allocations within PulseChain, so it wouldn't make sense to just give it to the same people. It's most likely to do with people that have disposable income. So if people are in Binance, it makes sense they probably have disposable income. And in Binance, the fact that yes, they are in crypto, but they don't know about other chains aside from what's available to them on that centralized exchange, right? So again, they're not in PulseChain, or like they're new in crypto, or I even assume like they're not even in crypto. Okay, very exciting stuff, guys. And I'm telling you, yes, we're not seeing the effects of it right now because of course it's 400,000. It takes a lot of time, and shout out to all the people, the volunteers, guys, who are providing their vans, who are taking their time to literally hand out the posts themselves. You know, big shout to, I believe it's Captain RG3 and Crypto Coffee. I saw a clip from the live stream. Yo, shout out to them. Shout out to a Dr. Exologist. Shout out to everyone else, man. It's such a great space to be in. I love PulseChain. I love the Core 7 ecosystem. You know, I really like Richard Hart, the message that he I can really tell, guys, he wants to make the world a better place. I can really tell that. And this is exactly where I want to be. Okay, I'm not here just as an investment. Yes, it is, of course, like we're trying to make money at the end of the day, but I really want to represent PulseChain. I want to be part of the history of PulseChain, guys. PulseChain is here to stay, and I'm here to stay with it. Okay, so yeah, thank you for that comment. And yeah, Daniel, I hope this video again is giving you more confidence in the bullish case of PulseChain, at least one of the tokens. And of course, shout out to the YouTube members who are choosing to support my small channel. Remember, you can become a YouTube member by clicking one of the links in the description or clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. You guys mean a lot to me, right? You're just telling me here, carry on doing what you're doing, making the videos. It's an absolute pleasure, guys, making the videos. I research every single day, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. Anyways, going back to the tweet here, he says, I recently saw more posts regarding INC in a negative manner. There's a lot of that on Twitter. I won't gonna lie. There's always gonna be, you can't please everyone. You really can't, honestly, guys. Anyways, and then he says, so I felt like it was time again to share some insights on the incentive token. Richard Hart recently was bull posting PulseX Hex and failed to mention INC. Oh my god. But why? My views have not changed, even though the markets swing and we trade them. Depending on what the current hype is, INC will remain the single most important token on the chain. There is a lot to cover, so let me quickly summarize the main arguments against INC. Richard will increase inflation so that farmers help absorb sell pressure after major pumps. That's a very valid argument. Okay, why it's wrong? Richard cut issuance by 97% at the very bottom, thus reducing the amount of liquidity on chain because farmers no longer had an incentive to provide liquidity. That's exactly what I talked about. Due to the nature of INC's liquidity, is extremely tethered to the performance of Pulse and PulseX. That's called Hart's Law. Almost in a way simulating a leverage play. Beautiful. Increasing the issuance would put far too much pressure on the chain, sell pressure, and its ability to absorb that. Inflation, even in a bull market. This is because the farms would indirectly steal all of the value of Pulse and PulseX pools. Interesting. Instead, it's much easier to imagine a world where INC naturally accrues value because of the nature of its liquidity in a bull market. This is going to increase the farming APY dynamically as the value of Pulse and PulseX increases in value. This will allow for the natural appreciation of all tokens while also exponentially increasing the rewards for farmers during a bull market. If you are making $1,000 a month currently, INC doing it at 5x, being roughly at $10 is still very reasonable farming APY. $10,000 a month. Hooey. Oh my god. If Richard were to increase inflation of INC now, he would murder his own chain. I agree with this, by the way. Not only would the market immediately unload all of their tokens, but now farming APYs will be substantially lower, causing unwanted extreme volatility. 100%. And by the way, a quick fun fact. Do you know Andrew Tate? You can look this up. Andrew Tate used to provide liquidity in the PulseX V1 farms. He had around 150,000 allocated, and he was farming INC, and he was slowly selling it. Like, he was accumulating a lot of it, but he was actually slowly selling it. And that's kind of like bullish. I remember people like tweeting a lot about it and tweeting about how Andrew Tate's brother was holding Hex like around a few $1,000s. But there was actually some kind of drama where, a lot of us were like spamming their tweet replies. And we're saying like, talk about PulseChain. And guys, listen, I'm not going to lie, that wasn't the right thing to do. We can't force people to talk about PulseChain. Yes, it's bullish that they're holding their, providing liquidity, but there's probably a reason that they don't want to talk about their allocation. Maybe because they're, it's a really high speculation for them. Or maybe because PulseChain at that time was still, going back and forth with the SEC case. Okay, so now, like Andrew Tate's brother, you can look this up, and I think it was with Lady Havid, where they're like going back and forth, bad exchange, and now it's like kind of a bad impression on PulseChain from Andrew, from the Tate's side, but it doesn't really matter. Do you know why? Because I was going to tell you right now that around 5 weeks ago or 13 weeks ago, I don't really know, but I looked back at the addresses before making this video, and yeah, they no longer provide liquidity, and they've actually sold their position. So that is good. Like, I think the only amount they're holding in PulseX is around 100 million. So that's not that much compared to what they had. So you know what? That's really good. Good riddance. But of course, at the same time, I'm not, like, when I say good riddance, I actually don't mean it. Like, they can do whatever the hell they want, guys. Okay. Crypto's it's a solo sport. Okay. I genuinely don't care. Like, genuinely. Like, if they came back on PulseChain, I'm not going to say this is like bearish. Oh no, we don't want that. No, like, this is bullish. Like, I'll probably make a tweet about it. They can do whatever the hell they want. I'll tell you right now. I won't judge you guys. If you sold your INC bag for 10 to 20x, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell you, whoa, what are you doing? Like, oh, you're not a true PulseChain. No. You can do whatever you want. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Okay? The whole point of the cycle, let's keep the scope within the cycle. Now, yes, I do have bags that I'm going to hold till the next cycle. Guys, I have like gold wallets that I forgot where I put them, that I don't even open. Portfolios, I literally don't open. I rarely open a portfolio, and I just forgot about them. That's it. Okay, some are gifted to family members, etc. But at the same time, keep the scope. Remember the scope of this cycle, which is, to be quite frank, guys, is less than 6 months now. We're talking like 5 months, tops, 5 months. The next, this is why I do say, countdown. I guess it is a countdown. The next 100 days, yeah, your life can change significantly. It's a decider moment. Your decisions that you take today at these cheap prices will dictate how successful you are. Like with PulseChain, incredible opportunity. You can make generational wealth, guys. You can actually achieve financial freedom with this. And I'm not here trying to build fake hype, because it's just not possible anymore with Ethereum. It's not possible anymore with Bitcoin. It's no longer going to do that 100x that it did in one cycle. It's going to take way too many cycles to have a realized 100x. And leveraging is way too risky. You're borrowing other people's money. And in most cases, you're paying every single day for that maintenance of the leverage. Time is against you. It's scary. It's scary. Okay, don't do that. Don't leverage, don't short. Unless you really know what you're doing. Be careful, please. So yeah. Anyways, and then he continues to say, if Richard were to increase the inflation of IC, he would murder his own chain, and not only would the market immediately unload all of their tokens, but now farming APRs will be substantially lower, causing unwanted extreme volatility. That's what we just talked about. And yeah, so what would the death sentence of INC, what would be the death sentence of INC that wouldn't murder the rest of the Richard Heart tickers? I don't know who the hell would ask that question, but okay. Removing the Pulse INC and PulseX INC pairs from the farms. If you see this occur, it's the cue that Richard Heart no longer wishes to control liquidity via incentive. I would exit all tokens immediately. Fair enough. There would simply be no bid. TLDR, by the F out of INC. I told you he would cut issuance before he did, and I'm telling you, it is the endpoint of the entire eco before anyone realizes. I don't know what endpoint means here, but anyways, shout out to Giga_Pulse. You guys can go follow him. He's very smart, and I think he does a lot of the Devi things as well. I think he's the one who created Frank Cabal, which is really beautiful looking portfolio, kind of viewer. But yeah, anyways, now kind of just to sum up the video. I know it's been a little bit too long, but I kind of wanted to take you guys through the bullish case, my price predictions, just kind of the history about INC and more in detail about it. So yeah, we're going to end it here with the price simulator. So we're going to scroll down here. If we do an even split, because I feel like this is the most realistic scenario, I'm not going to say, oh, what if he does a what if he just puts all his SAC funds into INC? That just makes sense. So I'm going to do an even split of what the current SAC funds are worth now, which is around $700 million at the current Ethereum price of $1,300. I'm going to click on this cogwheel and I'm going to put the liquidity reduction at max, because again, as price goes up too rapidly, most likely most of the liquidity providers will actually slowly pull out their LP because of the impermanent loss. So I'm just going to put that on max. If you guys don't know what that means, don't worry about it for now. Now sell pressure, I am going to put that on, I don't know, 95%. Okay, just to give it kind of the worst case scenario where we have a lot of greedy people here. Well, Richard Hart did call us sell pressure, which is kind of funny, and it is the truth, right? Unfortunately, we have perhaps a lot of disgruntled whales that have been holding with way too much expectations. Kind of goes back to the whole APRs law that I talked about, right? People overestimated the tech in the short term, but they didn't think about the long term. And now we're at that phase where a lot of people are out. Like I've already talked about Andrew Tate being out. He couldn't withstand the test of time himself. But again, no hate. I'm just saying. So if I click calculate here, I'm going to click calculate and see the price simulation. What would happen? Theoretically, if Richard Hart decided to just rotate all that funds into the core 4 and 95% sell pressure occurred, this is what would result. Okay? A 161 priced INC, 111x. Okay, a 46x to the native coin. Guys, 1/10 of a cent, almost 2/10 of a cent. A 84x to PulseX. I'm going to make a separate video on this. Why it's bullish. Why we're seeing disparity between the two. Even though they're basically very close to 1-to-1 price. And then with PHEX, 141x to above $1. Guys, this is sick. So there you go. You know, this is actually not bad. Like, this is realistic, guys. I ain't gonna lie. It's only a 2x from its all-time high. It's only a 2x from its all-time high. Think about it that way. And remember, like, yes, a 10x sounds way too good to be true, right? But a 10x is a 100x sounds way too good to be true, right? But a 10x, oh my God. But a 100x, again, apologies, it's almost midnight and I'm gonna sleep straight after this. A 100x is a 10x followed by a 10x, because 10 times 10 is equal to 100. Simple. So yeah, guys, listen, I'm gonna end the video there. I really hope you guys enjoy this. This is the beginning of the Core 7 made simple playlist. Again, if you guys do enjoy this, you can support me multiple different ways. I have my donation address link in description. You know what I mean? If you feel free to send me some RNC, I don't know. I really don't care, guys. You can comment down below, and that's more than enough. You watching till the end of this video, literally, that's more than enough. It has truly made my day. I just want to, hear your thoughts about PulseChain. When did you get to see my first video? How did you come across my channel? How did you come across PulseChain? I like to hear those, different stories, your backgrounds as well. It's very sick, guys. I'm so excited for the future. You guys are absolutely amazing. Genuinely, I look forward to making videos every single day. And I hope I get back to the groove of making daily videos. I will, hopefully. I just need to improve my time management. But guys, I'm going to end the video there. And yeah, big shout out to the man above. Trust in the process, and of course, trust in God. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.